Hi, welcome to Romance Writers Therapy. That's Marty V.
That's me.
And I'm Kate Pryor.
Yes, it is. Yep, that's a you. That's a you.
That's a you.
Hi, that's a you.
I was going to do like it's a me, Mario.
That's hilarious.
And you went in like a slightly different direction.
Yeah, but it was still a cartoon in my head because it was like the Yogi Bear.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
I wonder how related those things are.
I have no idea. I mean, based on time frame, they might be similar. Good Lord, my children are just stomping directly overhead. So, how you doing, Kate?
I'm doing great. How about you? Oh, I don't think I said it last episode because I can't remember the last time we recorded.
I have no idea.
I finished my gargoyle book. So
yay! That's so exciting.
Yeah.
It feels so good to finish books.
It does. It also feels bad because then you have to read the whole thing. And I don't love that.
I'm almost done with the dev edits of Hazel and Elijah, but I feel very iffy about the second half. So
yeah.
Luckily, I think like I'll get a pass through and then I can go back up to the top of the second half and just kind of like take its pulse a little bit better, you know?
Okay.
And make
take
sure.
Its pulse.
Yes. I want to make sure she's alive.
Was it you that I was having this conversation with? I kept using the phrase take the temperature of to like talk about the social climate of something.
Yes, I think you and I have had that conversation. I think it was recorded.
Okay. Just somewhere in there.
But I do take the pulse of things very often.
Okay.
So
that seems like a different kind of distinction. Like you're not seeing where it's at, like how healthy it is. You're checking to see if it's dead.
You're right. That is a bit drama. Yeah, no, that's a bit dramatic.
It is. It's very
hilarious.
Dramatic.
Maybe I should start taking its temperature instead.
All right, here's your pulse. Are you alive? You could take its blood pressure.
You're alive? I could. I could take its blood pressure. I could check the engine.
Check it. Check the oil.
Well, I'm happy you finished the book. That is so exciting.
Yeah, you were going to tell me something and then I interrupted you.
Was I going to tell you something?
I don't know. You asked how I was doing and then you were going to tell me how you were doing. And then I was like, no, I have news. Shut up.
No, I asked how you're doing. And then you told me. Right? Because you told me you finished the book.
Yeah. I don't know.
Listener, I already knew. I knew. She told you after she told me.
Marty's a more important friend than you are.
Listener.
Doesn't it kill you how close we are?
Doesn't it just needle you?
This is a really weird antagonistic relationship.
I know. And listener never speaks up for themselves. It's not like they leave a review to let us know.
You can make your thoughts known about how passive aggressive we are.
Yes. Under a 5-star review.
Yeah, that's the only kind we'll read.
Yeah. Listener, you can leave whatever review you want. I would just love a review. I know I do this to you all the time. But, thoughts.
I mean, I think
thoughts
there's a lot of shows that have done it a lot more than we have.
Yeah, we do forget to ask for a while. And then I'm like, oh, right, reviews. But okay, so you finished the book. Are you just, like, letting your brain rest right now?
God, I wish.
What are you doing instead?
Well, I have not actually made progress on it, but I've been like, all right, I'm going to start reading it again from the beginning and fixing plot holes any second now.
Why are you doing that instead of just letting it rest?
Because I gave myself an insane timeline that I've only recently realized is kind of insane.
Okay, what's your insane timeline?
I would love to have the book published by October 1st.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Okay, so yeah.
Get a lot of book lists. A
people
lot of
reading.
People talk about monster books. You get people who are maybe dipping their toes into the genre for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
For monster romance. And so I think that's
I agree.
valuable. And like if it's going to take me almost a year to work on a book anyway, then like might as well try to shoot for
Yeah.
that.
Do you have an editor like set up for?
Yes. I have 2 editors.
That's right. You're
set
working
up.
with Heather, right?
Yes, Heather from Spellbook Editing. She's nice.
Spellbound.
Spellbound.
She is
oh my
super
God.
nice. She does a great job. One of my favorite things she does is like, so I've used her for copy edits. And so she'll go through and she'll read your copy edits and she'll give you like the edits on the page. But then she also gives you like a little write-up of like, hey, these are the areas that I saw. Oh my God, I love that. That's so helpful for me.
It is.
So, yeah. But yeah, she's great. She does a great job. And you have another editor set up too?
I do, just because like I was like, ooh, let me be bad and splurge on this book.
So bad.
No, I just like, because I have less time on it, I kind of wanted more
eyes on it.
And the less time on it is definitely my own doing, because I did for several months just like not do anything on this project.
I mean, but like, you've also acknowledged that that's kind of just the way your brain works, that like you need to take a step back and let a project sit.
Yeah.
And so you had other projects you were working on.
I know. I just, can't shake loose that schoolwork mentality that like you have to do the things you don't like, you're not enjoying right now.
Yeah, I get that. As someone who like really had to like fight through to the end, I do understand that. But like I tend to have to fight through to the end. I know myself well enough to know that like if I put this down and start working on something else, I will never come back to it.
I think we can actually both talk about how we've been struggling to have titles for these books that are...
Oh, good Lord. These titles, man. They're so... Like, I am definitely struggling. I think Kate solved my problem.
Okay.
With Hazel and Elijah get mixed up. I think that's cute.
I find out, I think you have enough people in the cultural awareness of fuck around and find out that they're just kind of gonna connect that. But you expressed concern that it was gonna sound like there's a mystery.
Well, I didn't make that connection until I sent it to the dev editor, and she was like, hey, what do they find out? I'm like, oh, if they can like do this, if they're like compatible. And I was like, oh no, does it sound like they're solving a mystery? And she's like, kinda. So I don't know. You like Hazel and Elijah find out more?
I like it. It's also what you've kind of like when you first introduced it to me, I didn't like it as much, I think, because it felt a little plain to me. But
it felt what?
A little plain.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
And your other titles have like a little more fun oomph to them. But
and I do still have time that I could get rid of my like titling structure for this series, but I also am like, you gotta pick something.
Well, so okay,
right? Like there has to be something.
Here's my thought. Since you are at the point
tell me
where
your thoughts.
Pre-whole series, you could come up with the titles for all of your series and make them all nice matchy right now. And that structure, I think, is important in maybe someone doesn't follow you on social media, but they come across the book and then they go, oh, that sounds familiar. And then they make the connection to the book they read before in the series. And they go, oh my God, this book is out now. And like that kind of I do think it's good for that kind of a thing. Yeah,
I agree. My issue right now is like just time crunch. Like it's due in October 1st.
Ooh,
right?
Okay. You're also doing that fun
I'm doing that fun thing. Is it October 1st or September? It's September 1st. It's due back. So like, and in the meantime, I still have to finish these dev edits. And then when it's off to copy, I'm also sending it to someone to beta. Cause I just want some more eyes on it. I need someone to tell me the story is good.
Yeah, I know. It's so hard to like have that confidence like when you're so close to it.
Yeah. And like especially like not having time to step away from it and then come back to it, right?
Exactly.
But while it's off at copy, I need to be writing some on Remy's story. And then when it comes back from copy, I will have like 2 days to do the copy edits and then send it off to proof. I have to just be fully focused on Remy at that point.
That's a really tight
Which
plan.
I'm pretty... Yeah, she's tight. she's pretty tight. So, so yeah, it's doable. It's fine. But, you know, I just gotta be doing the stuff. And so, like, I don't feel like I have a lot of mental capacity to devote to the titles.
I gotcha.
Right? So that's why the, like, current structure works, because then I don't have to plan them all out perfectly. But I also still have to title the series. And I don't know what to call it. Like, Grand Ridge Animal Clinic sounds real boring.
You know, location and then, like, a fun kind of implication of hijinks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And it would still match the, like, series setup, like, character and character.
Ooh, wait, you said it was called
have
Bramblewood?
hijinks.
Bramblewood?
No, I wish it was called Bramblewood. That'd be better.
What was the name of the town you just said?
Grand Ridge.
Oh, Grand Ridge. Okay.
Bramblewood is not, like, a very regional sounding name here.
It does sound like a town you would find in Michigan. Like, I could imagine...
Bramble?
No, Grand Ridge Rapids or something.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I literally took, like, okay, this is a word that we hear a lot, and this is a word that we hear a lot. Let's put them together.
This is a town that could conceivably exist here.
100% could like exist here. Yeah. What's been really fun is like coming up with like state and national parks and like stuff like that in the world. So I've been having a lot of fun with that.
You're inventing whole national parks.
Oh yeah, there's Sleepy Pines Park, and that's where our golden retriever deputy Dennis works. Oh, so
okay, I didn't know you could do that.
Just make up parks?
Just make up a national park. I feel very, like...
Why not?
Iffy about, like, setting things in the real world and then, like, coming up with something that's very easy to, like, check a register and be like, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, but, like, it doesn't exist.
I know, but, like...
Right? Or,
I don't know.
but the thing is, Sleepy Pines probably does exist somewhere. It just doesn't exist here, right? I mean, maybe it's in Michigan somewhere, but moving on. Who cares? But, like, I mean... Fiction, you make up things all the time, right?
Yeah, but like things that you can check against a directory.
I mean, that's why I'm making everything up, actually. Like, so that when they check it, they're like, oh, no, this is not a real place, right? But I have heard of this woman. She set her town in an actual small town that she and her husband, like, love, right?
Yeah.
And so every time they go to visit, it's a tax write-off.
Oh my god.
Because I know.
I've been going back and forth on titles too. Even though in my head I've been calling this project Business Casual with the Beast for
which is cute.
Most of the year. I kind of have been going back and forth because, like, you guys, you know that I've been trying to come up with a more gargoyle centered name because I want people to know
that's what he is.
Gargoyle-centered romance. I've been feeling, like, not great about it because, like, I don't know, like, I just get in my own head. I really wanted it to be more similar to the orc from The Office in, like, structure. And so I came up with another option, the Gargoyle from General Management. But I don't like it because it's very long. It's still very clunky, I think. I think just gargoyle is clunky.
I think the word gargoyle is like the problem.
It's the problem, but like it's also necessary.
Yeah, but like beast from General Management, like
I wouldn't do that.
There's less syllables. Yeah. No, but my point is like there's less syllables, and so like I feel like it's easier.
Yeah, the factors I'm kind of juggling between these main two options. Or I like the alliteration, I like the structure, I like that it would create a like the gargoyle from General Management would create like a recognizable structure to the previous book. However, the first book does not have that structure either.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm breaking a tradition if I don't go with it, you know?
So my feeling is that the tradition you have set is that the monster involved in the book is in the title.
Yes.
So I lean towards using the word gargoyle however you have to.
Business casual with the gargoyle is still too dang long.
Gargoyle's a hard word.
It is so hard. The thing that I have all these like scrapped titles. Let me see if I can bring them up. Did I get rid of them already? Yes, I did. One of them was like corporate turmoil with the gargoyle because it rhymed.
That's hilarious.
And I thought that's so funny, but like it's still so much. And it's just a little too goofy, I think.
It is really funny though.
Well, that's what I liked about Getting Busy with the Gargoyle, is it is goofy and then it hits a number of things I needed.
Yeah, just do it.
Well,
just get busy with it.
No, but like the thing is, I set up a poll on Tumblr, and then you can't really do a poll on Instagram, but you can ask people to like comment with their choice. And I put like the 3 options: Getting Busy with the Gargoyle, Gargoyle from General Management, and Get Business Casual with the Beast. And General Management and Business Casual both seem to be doing strong, but General Management seems to be the clear winner in both places I had the poll.
You should do that then.
I know. I don't quite want to do that though, because I already made bookmarks that say Business Casual with the Beast. I just keep having like these little crises of, but I don't actually like it all that much.
I mean, if your readers are telling you that's what they like, that's what I would go with, right? You took your reader's pulse.
True.
I would just go with it. Mm-hmm.
And like redo the bookmarks.
So, Kate, do you want to talk about what we're actually going to talk about?
Well, yeah, I guess, because now that we don't have that much time to actually talk about it, maybe this will fill another 20 minutes. I know we already had an episode dedicated to writing the end of a book and finishing a book. That was because you had just done that, and I was, like, getting there. But now we've gotten to the point where I am there, and now I have more thoughts.
Yeah, but, like, I think that your thoughts, like, are something I've also been kind of, like, throwing around in my mind. So, Kate pointed out the expectation of, like, a final sex scene after they make up.
This is definitely, like, a romance convention.
Specific
I think
issue.
I want to say this is, like, a thing that feels, like, pretty universal. Maybe not in, quote-unquote, clean.
But, like, across all genres of
all
romance.
All subgenres of it,
yeah. Yeah.
It feels pretty expected.
I agree.
I think I've read a number of books that do this, and I've kind of noticed this as a reader as well, that I do not care about the last sex scene of the book. At that point, I'm kind of like, I don't want to finish this. I want to just skip to the last few pages. Like, I am not interested. Because,
like, I find that I tend to feel like I don't have steam for, like, as a reader for the last sex scene, right? Like, they've already reconciled, they're cool, and now we're having the sex scene, and then it's an epilogue, right? Yeah. And I feel like the sex scene has taken over, like, the victory lap, instead of seeing them, like, quote unquote wholehearted, WHOLE.
Yeah.
We're seeing them have makeup sex. It does feel flat as a reader to me, right? But I feel like I would have to ask other readers of the genre, like, hey, is this something that you really look forward to when you're reading a book? Is this final sex scene? Or would you prefer, like, some cute shit?
Right. And, like, as a reader, if I had to, like, compare different books that I've read the ending for and the ones that have made me, like, wishing the book wouldn't end, were, like, the ones where they're definitely flirting and bantering and kind of doing victory lap stuff, like, you know, really enjoying their time together. But I feel like I have to preface that, like, I don't dislike a sex scene. I just feel like without plot tension or emotional tension, there's kind of no point to it, you know? it does
Yeah.
end up like it is the story through line that really makes a sex scene hot.
I agree. No, 100%. I don't know. It's hard because, like, as a writer, getting to that scene feels pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, I'm also like out of steam as a writer. I'm like, I wish they didn't have to do this, but I feel like it's mandatory.
As a writer, I tend to at that point I don't dislike writing that scene. Okay. Right? And I think it might be like a little cookie thing for me where it's like I know that I'm going to write the scene and then I'm going to have an epilogue and I'm going to be done, right? And so like as a writer, it's like this convenient little puzzle piece to plug in, right? Where I don't have to think of some other like cutie thing for them to do, right? But also as a writer, I don't love that it feels like this is an expectation. Like the genre already has like some pretty strong beats and expectations to it that like this one just feels like, do we have to have this one so instilled as well? Right?
Yeah. I feel like
I just smudged my pinky nail.
No, I'm trying so hard to hold my nails still. They're looking gorgeous and messy. Ah! I just knocked over a bottle.
Dude, I'm so happy with this color. It's a new one to me, and I really like it.
I hope listener also does their nails while listening to this.
Oh my god! Listener, do your nails with us! I would love that. A little nail moment. It's Tuesday, and we all do our nails. Yeah. It's so cute anytime my mom sees my nails and she's like, oh, they look so pretty. And she's like, oh, it was Tuesday yesterday. Like she gets so excited because she knows I paint them on Tuesdays. But okay, so.
Yes. I was having a thought and I'm like, how much do I actually want to express this thought? I'm just going to talk about Tessa Dare for a half hour
now. Okay, that's fine.
Get ready.
We all have our favorites. I'm here.
So she was definitely like the first romance novel that I ever picked up and then like read the rest of her, or at least like the next 5 of like her current books that are out. There are some older ones that like when you go back that I'm like, ooh, okay. Like no, they're still good, but like, I think you can see that like her pacing skill isn't quite as refined as it is in her current books. You know, as like I think anyone's like writing journey goes is like you get better the more you do it.
100%. And also it does give me like a little boost of confidence knowing that like the stuff I'm doing right now, it's good, but like we're just gonna get better, right?
Yeah,
like we're just gonna keep on getting better. It takes a little pressure
off to be like, it's okay if it's a little bad right now.
Exactly. Like it's okay if I'm not perfect because I've expressed to you my fear of doing anything wrong.
Of course.
But okay, so Tessa Dare and
Tessa Dare. So because her books are Regency, I think it's more common in that genre. Like obviously not a standard, not a rule, but I think it's common that the characters aren't physically intimate. Like they don't have sex right off, like early on. Usually because there's so much emphasis in that society on manners, on purity, on like all these like really patriarchal like things. And I think part of the fun of like reading or writing a historical romance is getting to use these kind of oppressive systems in a way that like to use them to create plot interest, you know?
Okay.
Trying to like hold on to this this thought,
like the restrictions of the society create stakes within the plot.
Yes, you can like use those to your advantage as a writer, and as a reader it's like, oh my god, she flashed her ankle at him, what will she do? She is ruined and a temptress. You know,
and a temptress.
it's a lot of fun, I think, when you read and you enjoy that.
Yes.
Obviously, if that's not your thing, then you're not gonna have fun being like, oh my gosh, oh no, they were caught kissing in the garden, what will we do?
Eloise will be lost forever.
Literally. Oh my god. I've been reading the Bridgerton books, so
yeah, I know. I was looking for an old name.
Talking to you about those. And so, like, what you kind of get is that the characters very slowly ramp up the heat. You know, they start with some very, like, small acts of intimacy, and they kind of work their way up until, like, they're just too horny to, like, obey the rules of society anymore, and they have to, you know, have their night
go
in the
to Bone
house
Town
or whatever. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
You could say it that way. We can go to Bone Town.
We can only refer to sex as Bone Town from here on out.
Yes. The Bone
So I was writing some Bone Town.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, like, but to me, that seemed like so smart as, like, a pacing device that, and see, like, the thing is, I don't want this to be, like, construed as you can't have your characters go to the Bone Town until like they're on the cusp of marriage, like that kind of purity bullshit. Like, no, I'm not advocating for that.
No, I'm not here for that.
Talking about how I thought it was like a really brilliant device to kind of hold that tension of they haven't, you know, crossed every boundary they haven't hit all the bases. You know? God, what a terrible way to phrase that.
I don't know. Bone Town's got bases.
They haven't hit every exit in Bone Town yet. They haven't been up to all the gas stations.
They're still making the mile markers.
Okay. And like, just because you as the reader are like here for that in a romance novel, like if you're reading a romance novel and you're not really about only reading clean romance novels, you're probably there a little bit for the steamy parts, at least.
Yeah. I think that's, yeah.
That I just thought it was like a great pace. I don't know what I feel like I've said this like a bunch of times in a row. Like, I just keep stating that.
That it creates a pacing device?
It creates pacing, it creates tension, it creates suspense. However, once they actually get to that scene, unless the plot is like sustaining things afterwards, you can really easily lose grasp of that tension that you were holding.
I feel the same way about like slow burns in general, where there has to be enough of plot or like outside of the sexual tension to carry the book after they have sex, after they go to Bone Town. Otherwise, I get very like, kind of done, right? Like, there was a book recently that I was reading, and yeah, I was so into it, very much into it, enjoying it very much, and then they boned down at Bone Town, and it just deflated. I didn't care, and there was quite a bit of plot. It just wasn't anything I was like invested in.
Yeah, and so like I think if I want to point to like, I feel like I'm just saying the same thing a bunch of times in a row now. I'm sorry.
Okay. I mean, I was listening.
Do you feel like I'm about to unveil a new thought that I haven't said over and over again?
I mean, that was... I tend to just trust you that you're going to do that.
Oh, no.
That you're going to unveil a new
magic
thought.
Trick. I'm just going to keep regurgitating one thought over and over.
Well, you present it in so many different variations that I was here the whole time for it. So our suggestion is that if you don't want to do the final Bone Town scene, you give us a victory lap that feels satisfying, right?
I think really my qualm is that like if you're gonna write a victory lap sex scene, you need to like make sure it has its own emotional arc that's gonna like keep the reader.
I like that. Yeah.
Either an emotional arc or something that like needs to fulfill part of the story in some way. Like if it's an emotional need or a plot need, it's gonna like...
But I agree with you on the sex scene has to have an emotional arc to it that brings the book to a close and like gives me a reason to actually read every single line.
Yes.
My issue becomes like, okay, so how do I present that like they feel happy and that like they feel comfortable and at home in a new way with this sex scene that continues to happen at the end of the book?
See,
that makes sense.
I also feel this way a little bit about like epilogues and like victory laps, when writing them. When reading them, it really depends on how well the scene is done, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do I notice that this is taking much longer than, like, it should? Or not that it should. That this is, like, going on past, like, we have no more plot to cover. We're just hanging out.
I agree. That, like, there are times where I read these epilogues and I'm like, that was just a delightful, like, continuation of the story. But there are other times where it definitely is like, all right, I'm going to read the top sentence in this paragraph and the bottom sentence in this paragraph, and hopefully there's nothing in between I need, right? Like,
reader, if you want to, like, put important information in your story, top and bottom sentences of the paragraph.
That's it. Those are the only ones. They're
my
only
God.
ones that matter.
My mom, she would vent to me, like, before she retired, like, she had this boss she really hated, so she'd be like, every day, she'd be like, this guy only reads the first sentence of every email I send him. I'm like, then you just need to send him more emails, one sentence at a time. And, like...
Okay, that is an enemy to lover story right there.
No, you're not breaking up my parents' marriage for this.
No, not your parents, but the detail about, like, the email, like, why are you sending me so many emails? Well, I've noticed you only read the first sentence, so I decided to fix our problems.
Okay.
Like that is just some antagonistic shit, you know? We're not breaking up your parents.
So
Chris and Chris will be forever. But okay, so she was complaining about the one sentence. Is that the whole story?
That's the whole thought. I'm sorry that it's like a very anticlimactic story.
I mean, it's a really funny joke. So
yeah, no, but like I very much take that approach to like so she was like, I don't know, maybe like a year before she retired when I started my job, and like she had been complaining to me about this guy and his terrible email skills for like the last 6 months that I'd been like, God, even longer, maybe even a year plus that I had been living at home with her, because panini and pandemic, I mean.
Panini?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I keep saying panini thinking it's funny, and then like people don't understand what I'm talking about.
I mean, it is funny. I just didn't have the context to throw in pandemic.
I think it's funnier when in text. It's not a funny out loud joke.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. There was a guy on the TikTok that kept on picking different P words.
Oh, yeah.
It was all sorts of things. But anyway, moving on.
Yeah, no, so this has just like formed my entire understanding of like how to email people professionally. I just go, okay, I'm gonna give you one line of information.
The most important thing is at the very, very top. Yeah. I do find that like I have to convince myself to keep on reading the rest of the email. Like I'll have a reactionary moment to that first line, and then I'm like, no, there's more.
I feel like this is like,
do not respond until you've read the whole thing.
A little bit of our like the way we communicate has moved so far from like writing out long letters that and like I feel like I don't really understand how to respond, or this is like such a not at all what we were talking about. I used
not
to
a
have
podcast conversation.
A pen pal, and I was the worst pen pal ever because like every few months she would send me another letter and be like, hi, it's me again, and I'd be like, oh yeah, and then I would like write her back a quick letter and be like, I totally forgot. But like I think we had communicated to each other at one point that we both very much wanted to be the kind of people who sent back and forth
had pen pals?
Long handwritten letters.
That's so funny.
Then it turned out I very much was not this person I was trying to aspire to be, and I was like, I'm sorry you had to discover this with me.
I did some self-discovery, and this is not for me. Like,
I love it, but I cannot. Because
I love that you do this for me. I do not have it in me to respond.
Yeah, like, I always felt so terrible. But like, you know, we would write these like paragraphs to each other, and I'd be like, do I have to respond like every like your first paragraph corresponds to my first paragraph, and then I have to like respond to your second paragraph with my second like that kind of. I get so stressed about like doing that.
I have the same problem with like text messages, even where like sentence for sentence I want to respond to what they said.
Yeah, and like you want to do it in order, but like I think really the other person only cares about getting all the information back. Because like I sent a text to that realtor today, and I asked her a question, and she fully didn't answer it, and then like she was like, "I'll call you tomorrow." I'm like, that's not an answer, but okay.
Okay, so any more thoughts on this, or any more writing thoughts in general?
Epilogues are weird. But like not having an epilogue is weird. Because like I think of like every time I've read like a Sarah J. Maas book, I have not read all of them. But like you get to the end happens so suddenly. You feel like there's a little more like you need a little breathing room after the big dramatic event that just happened to like recover from it. And then it's like, nope. Because it'll be like, and then she chopped off his head, and then you'd be like, cool. And then you turn the page and there's nothing there, and you're like, oh, we're not gonna unpack this.
No, I get that. I used to be the kind of person that didn't read the epilogues. I do read them now. But I have to say, like, it's rare that I'm like, that was worth the reading, right? What I do really love is when they are a series and they, like, give you a hint at the next to come, right?
I do like that.
So, like, I think that's really, to me, the major function of an epilogue is, like, telling me who's next, right? And, like, giving me a hint at their trope.
I do love the idea of, like, is in contemporaries mostly, of seeing, like, a little domestic bliss. And
I do love seeing some domestic
like,
bliss.
Weird little things that didn't need to get wrapped up. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Not applicable to, like, that's not something you can do a lot with.
I don't know, because, like, I don't know how to give this away without, like, giving away the whole thing. Like, not the whole thing, but, like, the book's not published yet, so do I talk about it?
Up to you.
Listen, I'm going to be annoying and vague. So, there's two people that are, like, important to one other person.
Okay.
But they don't end up on the page together until the epilogue. So part of, like, that little... The reader doesn't need that, but it's, like, nice, right? It's nice to see them get a chance to interact and, like, kind of have a hint at, like, the way they're going to be in the future.
Yeah. Endings are weird.
Endings are so hard. And, like, they're really important because they're, like, the last taste in your reader's mouth.
Yeah.
So, like, you gotta land it, but, like, they're hard. So, I definitely prefer the first half of my book right now to the second half. But again, I might just be being hypercritical.
I think the best ending to a book I've ever read was Do You Want to Start a Scandal? Tessa Dare.
I haven't read that one.
It is one of my favorite books of hers. It is so good. I think the characters are so funny. The gist of it is that it's kind of like a little bit of a riff on spy novels or spy movies.
That's so fun.
The archetype of a spy, because you have the main guy is like a diplomat and a spy. He's also like, I don't know, a marquis or something.
Okay. Marquess?
A marquis or whatever.
A marquess. Okay.
Heroine is just kind of like she's a bit younger, but she's just kind of like this random ass girl, and she kind of keeps showing up and telling him, I'm gonna save you from the terrible fate of my mom trying to chase after you and like get you to marry me. It's very cute.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
That sounds like so much fun.
So he's like, I don't need your rescuing, but like then they kind of end up compromised. There's a little bit of a mystery in the background that, you know, she keeps trying to solve, and as she's trying to solve it, she discovers he's a spy, and like she's like, can I be a spy too? And he's like, oh my god.
That is
like
so
the most
fun.
Exasperating relationship, because like she's constantly like climbing out of windows and down trees and shit, and he's like, I'm having a heart attack watching, like, because he's fully in love with her, and just like, aww, she's gonna break her neck and I can't stop it.
I have to read this book.
Oh, it's so good. I love it. And the last scene, they're actually dancing together at like a ball, I believe. And they've resolved things between them. And part of the plot, like, is that the heroine Charlotte doesn't want to be involved in another scandal because like she's already kind of like considered scandalous because her mom is like embarrassing her constantly and
Okay.
trying to like, you know, she's trying not to. Part of her thing is like no one will believe that she didn't like try to trap him because his rank
Gotcha.
is so much above her own that she's like,
well, and then
unless
the
you like
tone her mom is set.
Yeah, unless you're like wildly and obviously and outwardly in love with me, and like he's such like a stone face, like there's no way that it's like no, I don't think he's capable of like emoting like that, and so yeah, so that's just, so like literally it ends on her asking him, "Do you want to start a scandal?" Because they're like, "What if we like we're scandalous in this ballroom together, but like now we're engaged, so it's fine," and it's so cheeky and it has stuck with me
cute.
because I immediately put down the book and emailed her like, "Where's the next chapter?" Like some kind of rabid fan.
Tell me you're not. Riddle me this. My favorite epilogue of all time is the epilogue to Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, right?
Ooh, okay, yeah.
By Christina Lauren. And there's just like this incredibly heartwarming moment where they like skip forward like I want to say like 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
And like she's talking to their now daughter and like it's just oh my god, it was so sweet. My eyes were tearing when I was like because I listened to the audiobook. But yeah, my eyes were all teared up. It was just so incredibly sweet and so incredibly like them. It was really, really lovely. But otherwise, I can't really think of any other memorable, like, epilogue.
What about endings? Just straight up endings? No? No more?
I mean, the ending of The 1 Month Boyfriend was so sweet. I don't even remember if they had, like, a Bone Town visit at the end.
I'm glad you cut yourself.
Yes. I'm really proud of me too. So, but I remember the ending in general, just like being something I really appreciated. I don't know. How do you make endings like feel? Because like the moments that I remember the most in books are like the moments where like their relationship is heating up, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you give the closure?
Closure necessary? You don't. Listener, this has been Romance Writers Therapy. That's Marty V. I'm Kim Pryor.
Fuck you, listener. I don't mean it. I don't mean it, listener. I'm sorry.
No, we do. Goodbye.
But I do think it's worth Jesus Christ, we're so dumb. I do think it's worth kind of doing more of an analysis on endings because I feel like we can't speak to it the way that we can other parts of the book.
Well, so I'm sitting here doing my nails having this thought that like something you said triggered this thought. The thing like you like to see the characters heating up, and I feel like most people feel like, see, this is like maybe a little controversial opinion because I feel like so many writers really hate the writing the middle, quote unquote, because, and I really consider this like the second quarter, not really the second quarter, middle, because it can be such a slog. But as a reader, I think readers tend to most enjoy those heating up moments that kind of building up to them actually realizing their feelings and figuring out where they stand with each other and like where they want to be with each other.
Yeah.
Rom-com montage kind of scene, like those moments. So I think what you do is you need to have to write something that is an equivalent to those moments, because what we want to see is like their relationship is on the runway and it's taking off, and we want to see it go up into the sky like the Jeep in the car in Grease.
The end of Grease?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't feel like my biggest thing here is I feel like I have started so many books and not finished them that I physically have less experience writing endings. Also, I DNF so many books that I have less experience reading endings, right?
All right.
That like
No.
maybe I just haven't spent the time and not like analyzing them like I should.
No, I get you. I think it's definitely harder to, like, if you bail out of a book because you're not enjoying like the middle, obviously you're not going to enjoy the end, I think.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so here I'm gonna bring in another thought that I shouldn't. I said it was done. One of my favorite video essayists is Jacob Geller. His YouTube's pretty cool. If you like video games and people talking about video games in a very literary analysis kind of way, they're a lot of fun.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, no, I can't stop recommending his videos. But anyway, so like one of them, he talked about something that I didn't know about, which was when you make a video game, you build the first level last because you will have amassed all the experience of what it means to build video game levels throughout the rest of the game, you know, through like. And now you have all the experience to write the first level, essentially, and make it as good as it possibly can be. And so to me, this is like brain explosion kind of thought, like, wow, yeah. And then the thinking behind that in like the industry is that most people who play a video game will not make it to the last level. But everyone who plays your video game is going to going to play the first level. If they play 20 minutes, you know, that they've got your best stuff right there. Which, like, the point he goes on to make in his essay is that saving the best things for last really is good, though. Or not, that's not the point he makes, but, like, is one of the points.
Okay.
And, like, how good it can be to end on a really powerful note.
Mm-hmm.
But what impressed me was not the conclusion, but like the starting point of like this, because it was such a unique point of view that especially when you write a novel in a chronological order, or not chronological, but like you write the first chapter, then the second chapter, then the third, and you go all the way to the end, you know?
Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole thought.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how to apply it to writing yet, but like...
Well, I think what I find challenging is in the project, by the time I'm at the end, I've run out of steam, right?
Exactly.
And then also, when I go and do the edits, I tend to, like, I make my outline of chapter for chapter what I have to keep my eyes out for, right? What I have to keep my eyes out for, what I have to change within that chapter, right?
Yeah.
And so then I go through and do that in chronological order as well. So I'm, again, running out of steam at the end, right?
Yeah.
So I haven't figured out how to fix this yet, because my brain does work in chronological order, because, like, I know that my emotional arc is going correctly because I just did the emotional changes in the chapter before. So, like, working from the back forward wouldn't work for me because I don't know where the nuance is here.
Yeah. But I think also the way that I am kind of noticing a pattern in my writing process is that I write like from the beginning to the end, and the end I've taken all the notes of like, all right, these are the things I need to go back and put in. And similar to the process you just described, like every chapter you're kind of making notes of like what you want to fix on the second time around. I'm kind of making notes on like, what do I need to go back to the beginning and add in to make the ending make sense?
And I have those notes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the time I finish that draft, yeah.
And like for me, it's very different from the way I used to write, which I would try to have maybe like these character quirks that would eventually add up to being important in the end. and like have that kind of foresight. But like it's hard to have that kind of foresight. It's kind of making more sense for me to write a whole book and then kind of insert a plot into it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That's like me and my character motivations, where I just kind of write whatever I need to do in the scene to get the scene done.
Character motivations, or their like tragic backstories, or their character traits or flaws, or like that kind of a thing.
Absolutely.
That would
So I'll
make
just
sense.
write that in, and then in the end I'm like, okay, well, how do I actually make all these different ideas cohesive?
I wish I had more answers. I wish I had more thoughts, but that's the last.
I feel like I need to do a better analysis of like endings in order to have a better understanding of like what I need to do going forward. Right now my brain is like tapped. She's not taking in any new media.
Okay.
So I will have to do my analysis in like December. So my piece of writing advice is try to just like give yourself grace that like it's okay.
Ooh,
if you see all the flaws. Like your readers will still enjoy it. But okay, so what was your ooh actually?
I'm sorry, I tried to keep that to myself and then I realized I said it. I was like, no, that's interrupting. It's when you type, you have to make sure not to like be typing with your nail. You should try to like make it the pad of your finger, because repeatedly hitting your nail, like the tip of your nail, is bad for your nail beds.
I did not know that. I do use the pad of my finger, but okay, well, where can listener find you, Kate?
I am on Instagram and the TikTok and on Threads, since Twitter no longer exists as we knew it.
And then listener, you can find me. I am at Marty the Author on TikTok and Instagram, and you can sign up for my newsletter at my website martyv.com. And I love a newsletter. It's very fun. Okay, listener, we love you. Bye.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.